Hello. My name is Howard Edgar Bove. I've been uploading these video blogs on my observations of being a substitute teacher or guest teacher for over 25 years. And in this last segment, it was called Observers of the Sacred, because it's going to be something I'm going to be talking about over 2 or 3 sessions. And to capsulate or summarize what I've been talking about is that basically we forget what we really are, which are observers of the sacred. What is a sacred? A sacred is watching human beings transform before our eyes as they grow, as we teach them. And we are the observers. And I was talking about a kid named Ricardo who simply was angry, he was lost, he was frustrated. You could see this kid, if he didn't get his act together, he was going to be a problem in sophomore year. Behavior was starting to go spiking in the wrong direction, and it becomes a mess. Now, I was talking with him as a counselor more than a teacher at this time in this class, but someone get really on his case and really get down on him and all the rest. But that's what I want to get to here is that we get so frustrated because we're trying to get kids to reach certain standards at a certain time, pass these certain level tests. And I'm not denigrating that. We can work hard. We can drill down and try to get kids to be critical thinkers. Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. But what I see is when I go down the road now from elementary to middle school to high school, there's another current that's flowing there. And that's a current that really is not is full of cataracts and turbulence because it's not meeting those students' needs. Now, I like to look at teachers who are observers of the sacred as a farmer. Now, usually what I do is 3 minutes, and I forgot about that, and I apologize. All right, so hope you won't hold it against me. But I'm going to start the 3 minutes right now. And anyway, I see teachers, besides being an observer of the sacred, one way to see that, because that's such a nebulous idea, is being a farmer or being a gardener. You rarely see gardeners yell at plants. Why won't you bloom now? Well, a gardener wouldn't do that because I know that you don't bloom in April. I know you bloom in February, right? I know you're not going to grow to this height because that's going to take 3 or 4 years. I'm not pushing you to do something that naturally you can't do, or it's not in your nature. And what I find, having taught for over 25 years or so, there's a lot of instances where students who are in this current where it's not in their nature. And yet we push them to do something that's not in their nature. That's not saying that you're bowing to laziness or bowing to, I don't want to do it and I don't like it. We're not bowing that kind of thinking. But the fact of the matter is, a gardener would never ask a tomato plant to grow pineapples. All right? The gardener is at peace knowing that this is a tomato plant. It's going to grow tomatoes. And the tomato plant itself, intrinsically, if it had a consciousness, is not upset that it can't grow pineapples because I'm a tomato plant. Yet we don't see students for who they are and what they are and allow them to grow into who they can become, as a good gardener would do intrinsically. We have these institutional, industrialized formats. Now it's Common Core, and there's nothing wrong with Common Core. But the fact is, this student that I was talking to in my first segment of this idea of observers of the sacred, dealing with Ricardo, he was angry and upset. Okay? He's already gone through grammar school, he's already gone through middle school, and now he's in high school. And he's pissed off. He's lost to a certain degree. And I see this time and time again, these kids who are in this current where they're just marking time. And they don't have to be marking, nor should they. And they're not growing. And a good gardener, a good observer of the sacred would say, you know what? This student is not getting the right educational fertilizer. And so we can't be upset that a plant, a student, is not growing properly and potentially not going to produce really good fruit if we're not fertilizing this plant well. A gardener would know that if you gave a plant the wrong fertilizer, you can't get mad at the plant for not growing well. But you can get mad or get a little bit frustrated or raise your level of awareness about maybe the right fertilizer is not being produced here. Okay? Anyway, that's my next segment in these segments called Observers of the Sacred, which is part of the larger video blogs that I've been doing. If you want, you can comment on what I'm saying. Tell me it's full of shit or whatever. And you can do that by going to HEB at findthefunproductions.com. Remember, Find the Fun Productions, because I try to remind myself to find the fun, because when you do find the fun, life is a lot more joyous and a lot more meaningful. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk again soon.